If you're looking to invest in cryptocurrency, you may have come across Solana. Solana stands out from the rest of the pack because it boasts some impressive technological improvements, has an outstanding team of developers, and some top-notch tokenomics that have been proven to support the token's price. Continue watching to learn more about this cryptocurrency and what it offers investors. Let's talk about why it's excellent and who created it. Anatoly Yakovenko is the creator of the first white paper. One of the things you need to know about him is that he's intelligent and spent 10 years working at Qualcomm. I've tried reading the white paper, but it's too technical, with a few understandable sentences scattered here and there. However, the blockchain is named after Solana Beach, which he admired. Why have Solana's prices gone up? Firstly, Solana has a block time of 400 milliseconds, which means they are quick. When you compare this to Ethereum's block time of 10 seconds or Bitcoin's 10 minutes, you can see that Solana is swift. Additionally, Solana states that they can handle up to around 710,000 transactions per second, which is 30 times that Visa can. Although they've never gone past 50,000 in the past, it doesn't mean they can't do 710,000 in the future. It just means they haven't tried. Thus, the Solana network is fast, resourceful, and inexpensive. Concerning the Matic network, it would be roughly 100 times less, with transaction fees set at approximately a tenth of a penny. Next, let's delve into what makes them so fast and cheap. Their consensus mechanism, which is a way of reaching a consensus among nodes in the network, needs to be understood. That's right, they don't use proof of work or proof of stake. Anatoly presented a new system called Proof of History in his white paper. It's proof of stake but includes a specific time variable. You need to know that proof of history is not a consensus mechanism but a way of adding the passage of time to blockchain data. Proof of history timestamp, therefore it allows a more precise timestamp for the blocks. We arrange our partnerships so that they can take a high-speed sequence of validators, basically so that they know the order they're supposed to submit the partnerships without the need to interact back and forth. One of the critical disadvantages of other blockchains is that they have to reach a consensus on time. We will assume this as a given for this article, but computers require constant upkeep. For example, people with disabilities can't see their phones or look at the sun to find out what time it is. With other blockchains, the nodes, which is just a fancy word for computers on the network, have to chat back and forth until they agree on a time before submitting a block. This chatter can be inefficient on the computer as there is a need for everyone to agree on what time it is. Solana provides a solution to this by using proof of history to assign an interval between blocks and an expedited process called a cryptographic crew proof. We can arrange the data organization on the blocks later, so we don't have to wait for the other validators to validate and approve our work. For example, if you want all of your family members to write to you, you must first write to them. When you receive a note from them, you have to send your reply, which takes even more time. What if the next time you see them, you just told them to email you at 4 p.m. on May 3rd? Make sure that you've anticipated it coming so that you don't have to spend time or resources waiting to hear from them. This way, you know that you will receive the letter on May 3rd, then your aunt on May 4th, then your cousin on May 5th, and then your grandma on May 6th. You would like to read the letters in order, but the trouble is that each letter uses a different mail provider, UPS and FedEx. Sometimes the timing will vary, and your uncle is away on a work trip. He's 3,000 miles away from me. That's why I told them to send their letters on the day I had planned for them. You may not receive the letters in order they were sent, but the day of sending is noted on the letter, so you can arrange them when you get them. Evidence of historical occurrences will allow the network to keep piling on blocks to us, and since some people have faster internet than others, it's likely that those who report having sent the messages earlier were telling the truth. So let's organize them after we get them, then add them to the blockchain. That's also interesting in that Solana has a capacity of 25 validated blocks being propagated at any given time by 25 different people. They can verify Visa quickly because they operate similarly to proof of stake. One of the advantages of the system of Solana is that anyone can act as a validator. The truth is, for the time being, to compare Ethereum 2.0, you must stake 32 Ethereum, around $100,000, whereas Solana only requires a small stake and a day-to-day fee to vote. But before we continue with this video, I'll allow you some time to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you like it so far. Alright, let's talk about something no other blockchain has tried yet. It's called C-level. I should point out that this term can be a little confusing because it uses the words developer and validator in two different contexts. Basically, you can think of a validator as someone who uses code from a smart contract. If you're not a programmer, here's a simple explanation. So you have to wash the dishes, put the laundry in the washing machine, and sweep the floor. Since you're one person, you have to do each of these tasks sequentially because you're one person. In Solana, this term parallel means you can do them all simultaneously. Regarding what Solana does, think of two additional copies of yourself doing the dishes, washing the laundry, and sweeping the floor at the same time. This is what Solana does for processing their smart contracts. I read this quote on their website. They don't bottleneck on ideas or software, but rather on hardware. The network's computational capacity will double every time Nvidia doubles the number of SIMD lanes. With supercomputers getting more powerful every 10 to 50 years, I'll be interested to see how Bitcoin and Ethereum handle it. First though, before we get into the tokenomics of Sol, you should know that Solana has many different smart contracts than Ethereum. Whereas Ethereum uses a virtual machine, Solana uses the Rust programming language. One downside to this is that developers cannot just copy and paste their code, but it has pros. Namely, Rust is a low-level language, so developers have much more power. It must be coded from scratch, but they will have more power than Ethereum smart contracts. Finally, let's delve into the world of tokenomics. Solcoin is the Solana network's currency, and it's used for transactions and is spread throughout the entire blockchain ecosystem. As I see it, Solana is both inflationary and deflationary. It's deflationary because 100% of all transaction fees were burned in the past, and now it's just 50%. Although they would risk approving an inflation schedule that is higher than they anticipated, this also leaves them at a risk of approving an inflation schedule that will pay out a monthly stake at around 8%. Although they are reducing the percentage awarded every few days, their monthly stake payout will not hit 1.5% until in 10 years. There were about 500 million tokens, which can increase over time based on proof-of-stake rewards. Aside from that, there were 4 private funding rounds before their initial coin offering, or ICO. With their respective ICO, these rounds made it possible to sell around 36% of their supply at a very low price. They were selling these items for 25 cents each, but their price is now $200. 13% of the tokens went to the project founders. The remainder of the 59% was divided amongst the company's initiatives we hope to launch later this year. Now I find it curious that there's a Solana wallet about 13 million tokens, and no one has figured out its reason. They set fire to a bunch of those pictures, so this deserves mention. One other thing worth mentioning is that Solana's productivity was cut by 6 hours in December 2020. This is a bit of a cause for concern because decentralized protocols should never fail, which suggests a common bug among everyone involved in the network. I'm sorry to say, this news did nothing to the price. It doesn't seem as though anybody panicked and sold as a result of this information. If you're an investor or want to develop a dApp for them, know that they're still in beta. We really appreciate you watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.